Hello and welcome to another episode of Swim Sets by the Pool podcast. This is the podcast where you get a 20-minute episode that's going to help you be better at swimming. We're giving you a free swim workout and tips from two professional triathletes, lifelong swimmers, and we just love the sport. So, my name's Nathan Cohen. I'm a professional triathlete, former community college swimmer, and with me is Greg Harper. I mean, what can we say about Greg? He's the fastest swimmer in 70.3. He raced Michael Phelps. He's the man. So yeah, Greg, how are you doing, man? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. I'm doing well. I appreciate that good intel and good intro and intel about the episode and what we do here. And yeah, just a nice short episode, some actionable tips. The things I like about our episodes is I listen to them back and I forget what we talked about sometimes, and you kind of get reminded. And there's just all these little nuggets that you can take, I think, from listening to us talk about swimming. And not everything will resonate with everyone, but hopefully you can take one or two things and that will resonate with you and will help you improve. And that's kind of what swimming's about. It's like you have to try a lot of things. You got to, explore your horizons and yeah, you improve. And that's what we're here to help you do. So
Yeah.
Nate brought a set back from across the world like normal.
Yep.
So
Yeah, so we're bringing you swim sets from all over the world. We're searching far and wide. We're talking to all these pro triathletes, swimmers. We're really trying to bring you guys the best swim sets. But yeah, like Greg said, it's fun to listen back to old episodes because with swimming, sometimes you got to hear it twice or three times, or you got to hear it in a different way. So it's good to just remind yourself of these little tips and stuff. And yeah, it's good stuff. So
yeah, I'll say one thing on that. It's I've coached a lot of swimming in my life, and if you've got a group of 10 kids and you want them to learn one skill, you're gonna have to frame it in five different ways. And it's gonna click with a couple of them one way, it's gonna click with a couple of them a different way. So that's what it's about. It's like, yes, listening to too many voices can be overwhelming. So just listen to our voices, let us guide you there, and yeah, only listen to what we say because we're right. No, but that's the thing about me and Nate too. We don't know everything. We just want to help you out. And, you should always run away from the coach who says this is the only way because they really don't know and everyone is different.
yeah, and we'll say some stuff that clicks with you, hopefully a lot of stuff, but I'm sure we'll say some things that just doesn't work for you, and that's okay too. So yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
just
totally.
don't take advice from the person at the pool in board shorts and no goggles. They're probably just a surfer. So yeah,
And a
um,
watch.
and a watch. Yeah. Anyways, so I got a little tip for you guys, and this is something that I've been doing over probably the past couple months, and I actually really enjoy this, and I've seen improvements in my swimming. And at least once a week, do an all out 100 free. Bonus points if you do it from a dive, extra bonus points if you can race one of your buddies while you do it. But speed is foundational to efficiency in swimming. So doing an all out 100 from a dive or just like an all out 100 once a week, it's not going to kill you, Like, but I think you'll get better at swimming, and it's also just fun if you can like race one of your buddies. Like when I was in Taiwan earlier this week, it was literally the freaking day after the race or 2 days after an Olympic distance race that I got cooked at because it was so hot. One of my Taiwanese friends, he's like, Nate, let's race 100. And I'm like so tired, but we got up on the blocks, we raced 100, and I smoked them. 2 seconds.
Nice.
I swam like
No,
101
that's a
long course meters. Yeah.
that's a good tip too. And you can also track your progress. I mean, like if you swim a 30 in a 70.3, you probably can swim 100 all out and somewhere close to a minute, maybe 101, 102 in short course, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not quite. But if you can get that closer to 58, 57, that's going to be your ticket to swimming 27. You're not just going to keep raising your threshold closer to your absolute speed. Like you have to raise your ceiling. So, you can use it to track it, like okay, I'm putting in work in the swim. Every Friday, I'm going to get up. I'm going to do 100 free and track it over 6 weeks. And hopefully, in this sixth week, you're faster. Week to week, you might be a little slower depending on what you're doing outside of it. But like general trends over time is what we're looking for, not the day to day differences. So yeah, I think that's a good tool. And actually, in some of the athletes I've been coaching, I gave it to them like 2 weeks ago, and I should probably revisit that because a lot of these athletes are kind of in that 30-minute range and they're
Hmm.
70.3, and their speed isn't good enough to raise their to improve their swim time really. So we got to get their speed up, and then their efficiency can and match that. Because I swim 22 in all my 70.3s, but it's like I can sprint a 50, and it's not that fast, right?
Hmm.
I mean, there's guys who swim 39. I mean, really, it's like this, you just have to have a good baseline level of speed, but you don't need to be a world-class sprinter. And I sure as hell am not, but I am the
Hmm.
fastest swimmer, in mid distance or one of them for sure.
Yeah, sweet. So I hope you guys practice that tip. And like I said, bonus points. Hopefully your pool can let you dive in. Diving is great. Tight streamline, and then race one of your buddies. And yeah, it'll be fun. So yeah, this set we got, as Greg said, is from halfway across the world. This is from my friends on the Taiwan national triathlon team. Some pretty good triathletes over there. And they have a lovely pool, by the way. Indoor 50-meter pool, pristine. It's deep all the way across. And yeah, good, like just that perfect swim temp, too. When you jump in the pool, it's just right. So yeah, this is more of like a post race, couple days after aerobic swim set. There's a lot of drills, a lot of just like easy swimming, some kicking, and yeah, we're gonna talk about it, and we're gonna get Greg's thoughts, my thoughts, and see how you guys can implement this to swim better. But yeah, Greg, take us through that 1200 warm up.
Yeah, and the whole thing is just like 200 this, 200 this, 200 this, 300 this, 100 this. So like honestly, the flow of it, I hate it.
Yeah.
I like but like I'm looking at it and I'm thinking about who's doing it. And I'm like, okay, it does make sense in that context. So it's
Hmm.
like I would love to see a little more direction with the whole thing. But if someone gave this to me and I just like, if it says 100 drill, okay, if you just focus on the drill and drills, you can do it. But like for a beginning swimmer, they might struggle with this a little bit, right? So it's a 200 free, 200 skull free, 200
Shark fin.
shark fin tap, 200 one arm paddle, 200 high elbow, 200 fist pull. So we're getting in a little bit of mixed. I mean, actually, I give some of my athletes a little bit of fist and like changing the sensory awarenesses of their hands. So like even like an okay hand or like a horns, to
Mm.
make sure you're pulling a lot with that forearm. Um, I think those drills are better off you do them and then you do some fast swimming, which is not what's happening here.
Hmm.
Um, a 200 one arm paddle, I kind of like that too, where it's like if one arm just has a paddle and one doesn't, like
Yeah.
there's just little things that you can do that will like challenge you or make you feel the water in a different way. So I'm a fan of
Oh,
that. And
actually, I gotta preface this. So we swam this long course meters, and each one of these 200s is halfway drill, halfway swim.
hmm,
So yeah, so it's
okay,
not
cool.
just drill all the way through. It's like 25 meters drill, 25 meters straight into a 25-meter swim, and then the 200 is the continuous.
Okay, cool.
So
Yeah, that sounds great. And shark fin is like it says shark fin tap. I mean, shark fin is where you kind of have the elbow close to the body and you're like
hmm.
putting that elbow up in the air, which is good, to practice high elbow recovery. Now, high elbow recovery doesn't mean you need to like drag your arm close to your body. Your arm can be wide and your hand can be wide and your hand can even be above your elbow, but the key is your elbow is high above the water.
Hmm.
People talk about straight arm freestyle and things like that. Sprinters go to that. It's like people think of high elbow recovery like the elbow has to be above the hand, but all the elbow just has to be high. The hand can be wherever feels good for you. And I realize in my strokes, one of my hands is above the elbow and one of them is below. So it
Hmm.
doesn't even have to be even on one side or the other. You just got to find what works for you. And generally, if you're like trying to keep your hand really tight to your body on your recovery, it's like it just tighten things up a little bit. You might need a little more space because you probably don't have that shoulder mobility as well. But I kind of like the drills and the random stuff that are part of that 1200 warm up.
Yeah, for sure. And the shark fin one, this is gonna tie into one of my fun facts that I'm learning from swimming with all these different groups around the world, is they called drills different things. So the shark fin, they actually did the kickboard between the legs, like between their
Mm,
thighs, and that was their like shark fin drill, which I thought was interesting. And
like board wag,
that's what you call it.
board wag, yeah, because like when you're doing that, the board wags
Yeah,
back and
yeah.
forth. Hmm.
So They also call underwater recovery, aka long dog if you're Australian, they call that 12-6.
Hmm.
So like there's a clock and your hand goes from 12 to 6 on it, which I thought was interesting. They're very like number oriented in Taiwan and like yeah, so I thought that was a fun thing. But yeah, some of these drills, I would say if you're a newer swimmer and you're trying to get a lot out of this, fist drill is really good for like newer swimmers. It's really hard to mess up. You just like put your hand in a fist, or like Greg was saying, in different ways. And then yeah, that fingertip drag I think is pretty simple for newer swimmers to get. And then yeah, the one arm with the paddle, that's a good one too. So yeah.
Yeah, and fist drill, it's like, I mean, we've talked about it in the past because that one guy was given like a bunch of fist drill to
Yeah,
warm up
yeah.
the. But the whole idea with fist drill is, or like where you manipulate your fingers. It's like when you set your catch, that's like your paddle out front. That's like your
Mhm.
anchor, and you're trying to maximize surface area. There's more surface area on your arm than there is on your hand. So the idea is when you take away the hand, it forces the swimmer to pull more with their arm.
Mhm.
Sometimes you can say like, "Hey, I want you to pull, I want you to have a high elbow catch." And they'll be like, okay, but they might not be able to do it. So the drills like these, you take something away, it forces the swimmer maybe to have a better high elbow catch. So when they return to swimming, it happens naturally. And that's kind of like, that's how coaching works in swimming. We can't just tell people to do something. We have to force them to do something to make a change. And then maybe they can understand it later. But as a coach's perspective, you can't just tell people what to do. You got to make them do it. And maybe they'll complain, but you just say, this is the way. And you force them to be better, and they'll thank you later.
Yeah, and swimming is definitely like a long-term process. I don't know. Was it you, Greg, that you did some like thread post about this? Or like you did a
Oh, probably.
maybe it was like a short video from like one of the podcasts, but you're like, if you're just trying to get better in like 3 weeks, it's not gonna happen. Like swimming's a 6 month process. Um, but
6 year process,
yeah, or
man. I
six
mean,
year,
yeah.
yeah. I just think of like one athlete I know, Gina Serrano. She's one of the top short course women right now, for the Olympic distance, and she used to be really bad at swimming because she came from a running background. And we were racing Triton Man one year, in San Diego, and she's like, Nate, like I finally figured out the high elbow catch thing. And I'm like, okay, fine, Gina, whatever. And like sure enough, she did the race and she was like third out of the water. And she was like, she'd never been that high up before. And I was like, I guess she figured out that high elbow catch. Like,
And it can take a long time. It's like,
yeah,
there's that saying, people overestimate what they can do in 3 weeks, but underestimate what they could do in 6 months or a year.
yeah.
And it's like, if you start today and seriously try to change your swimming, and like, if you took all of our sets and you like strategically did them for a week, for however many weeks, 10 weeks or 12 weeks, however many episodes we have, you would be better than you are right at this moment. But if you just like half it and don't really change your stuff, like, you won't really improve. It's like, it's very calculated, especially if you're someone by yourself. Like, you have to take a lot of ownership in what you're doing, especially in the pool. You can't treat it like cycling and running where you just go out and run and cycle. Because the more of that you do, you'll probably get better. Swimming is not always going to be like that.
Yeah.
Um, but
And
yeah,
wait, I got one thing to say on that. One
yeah,
thing
go
to say
ahead.
on that, guys, is do what Greg's saying because Kona 2026 is back, baby. And you want to be ready. You want to be up there in that
Well,
swim.
it was back for the males, but now it's back for the
It's
females
back
as
for
well. I mean,
everyone.
well, right, right, but it would have been, I
Yeah, yeah.
think. Yeah, so I think they jumped the contract 1 year. So yeah, Kona 2026.
It's back, baby. So be
Maybe I'll be
ready.
there.
Listen to our pod. But yeah, okay,
Maybe I'll
let's
be
jump
there
into this main
setting.
set.
I'll be there setting the swim course record.
Oh yeah. I'll
Um,
be there watching.
Maybe not though. It's a little fast. All right, so 300 paddles, 300 or 100 back paddles, 100 kick, 100 drill, and then actually just repeats that, or 300 free, 100
Mm-hmm.
back pad, 100 kick. Yeah, so it kind of repeats that 3 times, and then the set's over. So I'll say one thing. There's no real intervals and stuff on this. Like, this is kind of like a free flowing workout. So if you're gonna do this, just do a reset between each thing, um, and just have a plan. Like when it says 100 drill, have a plan on what you're gonna do, and maybe
Mm-hmm.
focus on one drill that day too. sometimes, and I'm even guilty of this too, where it's like you're programming something, but you give someone a drill and then a different drill and then a different drill. It's like that might not work. Like you maybe kind of hone in on one drill for a period of time to make a change and do what that drill is going to help you do, and
Hmm.
then move on to something else. So maybe you do underwater recovery today, and that's kind of your drill for the day, because that's like a catch focused drill as well, where you'll have to get into your catch effectively underwater, and so is
Hmm.
the fist. So this is kind of be like a catch effective day. But the backstroke paddles I like because it really forces you to rotate and set a catch deeper in the water, or else you'll slip. And I think that's most people struggle on backstroke. They swim flat. And if you don't rotate and your shoulder doesn't come out of the water and then underneath you as you rotate, you will have no leverage on your pole.
Hmm.
So the paddles force you to put your hand a little deeper and rotate a little bit more. So I'm a fan of that one for sure.
Yeah. So I did this set, and it was kind of just like, yeah, like Greg was saying, we're just kind of flowing through it. And it was a little bit boring, but also like some days you have those boring sets. Um, I think it would have been nice to maybe do like 100, another like 100 free or something, like at the end, or like, yeah, like after the drill. Cause I don't know, for me, going from like drills to like swimming with paddles, you just have like a different awareness of the water. And yeah, I think that's probably the only thing I would change. And it would only add like 300 to the workout. Just like add another 100 free, no gear, um, after the drill. But yeah, it was cool. It was nice doing the kick too, because we would kind of like chat and stuff. And I was like chatting with one of the guys who speaks like hardly any English at all. And we were trying to have a little conversation. It was fun.
Yeah, so and one thing about kick, like what people don't realize when you're swimming is like you have to activate the backs of your legs essentially to hold your legs up a little bit. And it's like it can be hard to do, and I take it for granted because I do it so easily and I don't really
Hmm.
have to think about it. But if you're doing some kick, which everyone should do some kick, if you kick on your back in a streamline and do flutter kick or freestyle kick, you'll really have to focus on not it's the down kick when you're on your back, right? So it's the
Hmm.
up kick when you're on your stomach. And that really uses like the hamstrings more and kind of the posterior chain. So that can be a way to like figure out how to kick more effectively too. And then maybe when you're swimming, it's kind of easier to hold your legs up, like maybe if you're struggling with your body position. So I think that can be it's nice to social kick and stuff too. The thing about
Yeah.
kicking with the board is it can take you out of body alignment, if your
Hmm.
head's kind of up. So if that's something you're struggling with or you're not like a really great swimmer, maybe get off the board for a while and practice kicking in different ways.
Yeah.
Um, and vertical kicking is a good way too. If your pool is deep enough and you can't really vertical kicking will force you to kick effectively or else you'll sink. And then
Yeah.
that's when the drowning and like the fear comes in. So you'll figure
Hmm.
out a way because
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
forced to figure out a way or else you'll sink to the bottom of the pool. So yeah, but yeah, I like that. If you do drills, swimming freestyle after I think is a
Hmm.
good play. And you could even just take the paddles out of the set, like the 300
Yeah,
paddle.
I actually didn't have paddles with me because I don't, when I just go for like a weekend race, I don't usually bring my paddles. So I just did the set without paddles and it was totally chill. But
Yeah,
yeah.
most definitely. And then 400 warm down. Yeah, I mean the photo of the workout that we're looking at shows the pool in the background, and like it does look very pristine. Looks like
Dude,
a
it's
nice
nice. And they have like
fast
a
pool.
full like 10-meter diving platform pool in the back too.
Oh, so it's got to be proper deep on that other side.
Yeah. Yeah, they're separate pools, but like I think the whole pool was like
Oh,
two
okay.
meters deep across the whole thing. So like 7 feet or whatever. And they had these little like underwater benches. They would like chuck them in the pool so you can stand on them at the end
Oh,
of the
nice.
lane.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because it was like a tall deck. Um,
I'll say one more thing. If you don't float super well in the pool and you're in a deep pool like this, try to not use the wall like during a workout. I
mm,
think I've said this before. Like
I don't know if
if
you
you're
have.
or
That's a good tip
it,
though.
if it's like if you're on a master's workout or whatever, like I was running this camp, the Everyman Jack camp, and I was doing workouts on the pool. And the guys who were in the slower lanes, I was like, okay, while I'm explaining stuff, you're vertical kicking, you're vertical sculling, you have to stay afloat, while I explain things just to get them floating more. And I'm like, this has to be easy. You got to be
Yeah.
able to float literally forever with no energy. And if
Mm-hmm.
you can't do that, you won't effectively use your energy to move forward. So
Mm.
floating is super powerful, and it's something that most triathletes and stuff are start coming to something late in your life. You just skip it. Like you don't practice floating because you kind of look like a weirdo in the pool, and like you low key look like you're drowning, so you scare the lifeguard. I mean, but all that stuff is powerful, and the floating aspect of it is very powerful. So yeah, if you're doing a workout, try not to hang out on the wall between your intervals, like just kind of float there, or like vertical kick or something, and make sure that's easy, because that's important.
Nice. Well, sweet. I hope you guys enjoy this set. And yeah, this would be a good one to do like a day or two after one of your races when you just need like a more chill swim. And yeah, like always give some intention to those drills. Don't just like lazily do the drills because it's not the point. But yeah,
Yeah,
great.
and then it becomes a waste of time.
Yeah.
All right, so my hot take is most triathletes are not advanced enough to even use a pull buoy.
Oof.
So, it's like that becomes a crutch, but the pull buoy is a tool for advanced swimmers with great body position to make themselves swim faster.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have amazing body position, you should not be using a pull buoy. So, I would say that most triathletes probably shouldn't even be using one. And this stems from the lady I saw who spent 15 minutes getting ready, getting her headphones on and her watch, and she got on the pool with a pool buoy on. And I thought, that's not the way.
It's
That is
not the
not the way.
way. Awesome. Well, thanks for that, Greg. And yeah, as always, I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're popping off on YouTube. We're trying to get to 1,000 subs. So yeah, if you guys could subscribe there, that would be awesome. Then we also have a Patreon where you can ask us questions, and you get the swim workouts before we release them. So it's pretty sweet. If you guys want to go check that
Yeah,
out.
and maybe we'll give you some bonus workouts. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah. So all those links are below, and yeah, share this episode with your friends. See you guys.
Peace.